Insulin. Most people know insulin controls blood sugar, but it does far more. Produced by your pancreas, this hormone is your body's master storage signal. When insulin rises after eating, it tells your muscles to absorb glucose, your liver to stop releasing stored sugar, and your fat cells to store energy. But here's what most don't know. Insulin also controls protein synthesis in your muscles, affects your kidney's salt retention, which influences blood pressure, and even impacts your brain's reward centers, making you feel satisfied after eating. Too much insulin over time can make your cells resistant to it, leading to type 2 diabetes. Too little, and you develop type 1 diabetes. This single hormone essentially decides whether your body is in storage mode or burning mode. Cortisol. You've heard it called the stress hormone. But cortisol is actually your survival hormone. Produced by your adrenal glands sitting atop your kidneys, it spikes when you're stressed, flooding your body with glucose for quick energy. But cortisol does something most people don't realize. It temporarily shuts down non-essential systems. It suppresses your immune system, pauses digestion, reduces bone formation, and even affects memory formation in your brain. This is why chronic stress makes you sick, gives you digestive issues, and causes brain fog. Cortisol also controls your sleep-wake cycle, naturally peaking around 8 a.m. to wake you up and dropping at night. When this rhythm breaks, you get insomnia. Your body releases cortisol in response to low blood sugar, infections, and even intense exercise, making it one of your most versatile hormones. Testosterone. Everyone associates testosterone with masculinity and sex drive, but both men and women produce it, and it does far more than you think. Made primarily in the testes for men and ovaries for women, with smaller amounts from the adrenal glands, testosterone builds muscle mass and bone density in everyone. Here's the hidden part. It dramatically affects your confidence, risk-taking behavior, and even your voice pitch. Higher testosterone is linked to more competitive behavior and spatial reasoning abilities. It also controls red blood cell production, which is why men typically have higher red blood cell counts than women. Testosterone improves mood and energy levels, affects fat distribution on your body, and even influences hair growth patterns. Low testosterone in men causes fatigue, depression, and loss of muscle mass. In women, too much causes excess body hair and acne. Estrogen. Primarily known as the female hormone, estrogen is actually a group of hormones produced mainly in the ovaries, but also in fat tissue, the adrenal glands, and even in small amounts in male testes. Beyond controlling the menstrual cycle and reproduction, estrogen has hidden functions throughout your entire body. It protects bone density, which is why women face higher osteoporosis risk after menopause when estrogen drops. Estrogen affects your brain, influencing memory, mood, and even protecting against cognitive decline. It controls cholesterol levels, keeping the bad cholesterol low and good cholesterol high, which is why heart disease risk increases for women after menopause. Estrogen also affects skin thickness and elasticity, controls body fat distribution, influences blood clotting, and even impacts your vocal cords. Men need estrogen too. Too little causes bone loss and sexual dysfunction. Thyroid hormones. Your thyroid produces T3 and T4, hormones that essentially control your body's speed. They determine your metabolic rate, how fast your heart beats, how quickly you digest food, how much you sweat, and even how fast you think. But here's what most people miss. Thyroid hormones affect every single cell in your body. They control how much oxygen your cells use, how much heat your body generates, and how sensitive your body is to other hormones like adrenaline. Too much thyroid hormone and you become anxious, lose weight despite eating, feel hot all the time, and your heart races. Too little and you become depressed, gain weight, feel constantly cold, and your brain slows down. The thyroid hormones also control growth and development in children. Without enough during critical periods, children develop severe mental and physical disabilities. Growth hormone. Produced by your pituitary gland at the base of your brain, growth hormone does more than make children grow taller. Released in pulses, especially during deep sleep, it continues functioning throughout adulthood. Growth hormone builds muscle, burns fat, strengthens bones, and repairs damaged tissues. Here's the hidden part. It dramatically affects your appearance and aging. It thickens your skin, strengthens your hair and nails, and maintains organ size. As growth hormone declines with age, you lose muscle mass, gain abdominal fat, develop thinner skin, and your organs actually shrink slightly. Growth hormone also affects your mood and energy levels. It's released during exercise, which is one reason workouts make you feel good. Some athletes illegally use synthetic growth hormone to build muscle and recover faster, but it causes dangerous side effects like organ enlargement and diabetes. Melatonin. Most people know melatonin as the sleep hormone, but your pineal gland in your brain produces it for reasons beyond just making you drowsy. Melatonin rises when it gets dark, signaling every cell in your body that it's nighttime. But here's what's hidden. Melatonin is a powerful antioxidant that repairs cellular damage while you sleep. It regulates your body temperature, dropping it at night to facilitate sleep. Melatonin also affects your immune system, making you more resistant to infections during proper sleep. It influences seasonal reproduction in animals and affects seasonal mood changes in humans, contributing to seasonal affective disorder in winter. Blue light from screens suppresses melatonin production, which is why phone use before bed ruins your sleep. Melatonin levels decline with age, which partly explains why older people sleep less and more lightly. Adrenaline. Also called epinephrine, adrenaline is your emergency hormone. Produced by your adrenal glands, it surges during danger, creating the famous fight or flight response. Your heart pounds, your pupils dilate, your airways open wide, and blood rushes to your muscles. But adrenaline does hidden things most people don't realize. It temporarily gives you superhuman strength by removing your muscles' normal safety limits. It sharpens your senses and speeds up your reaction time by altering brain activity. Adrenaline also stops digestion, reduces pain perception, and makes your blood clot faster in case of injury. It causes the time dilation effect where everything seems to move in slow motion during emergencies. This happens because adrenaline makes your brain record memories more densely. The surge lasts only minutes, but the effects on memory can last forever, which is why traumatic events feel frozen in time. Oxytocin, called the love hormone, oxytocin is produced in your hypothalamus and released by your pituitary gland. It surges during childbirth, triggering contractions and later stimulating milk production. It floods both parents' brains when holding their newborn, creating powerful bonding. Oxytocin makes you trust people more, which can be good or dangerous. It reduces anxiety and cortisol levels, actually lowering your stress response. Oxytocin is released during positive social interactions, hugging, and even petting animals, which is why these activities feel good and reduce stress. Here's the dark side most don't know. Oxytocin also increases envy and gloating. It makes you favor your in-group while becoming more defensive or aggressive toward outsiders. This hormone literally shapes human tribalism. Leptin. Produced by your fat cells, leptin is your fullness hormone that most people have never heard of. When your fat stores are adequate, leptin signals your brain to stop feeling hungry and increase energy expenditure. It should be the perfect weight control system. Here's the problem most don't understand. In overweight people, the brain becomes resistant to leptin signals, similar to insulin resistance. Your fat cells are screaming that you have enough energy stored, but your brain can't hear the message, so you stay hungry and keep eating. Leptin also affects your immune system, bone mass, and reproductive hormones. When leptin drops too low from extreme dieting or low body fat, women stop menstruating, men's testosterone plummets, and both sexes become constantly hungry and lethargic. This is your body's starvation defense mechanism. Leptin essentially tells your brain whether you have enough energy reserves to spend energy on reproduction, immunity, and activity. Ghrelin, the opposite of leptin. Ghrelin is your hunger hormone produced mainly in your stomach. It rises before meals and drops after eating. But ghrelin does sneaky things most people don't know about. It doesn't just make you hungry, it makes food look more appealing and smells more enticing. Ghrelin increases dopamine signaling in your brain's reward centers, making the idea of eating feel exciting. It also affects your sleep, with high ghrelin disrupting sleep quality and sleep deprivation. Increasing ghrelin, creating a vicious cycle where tired people eat more. Ghrelin rises during stress, which is why many people stress eat. Here's the fascinating part. Ghrelin also affects memory and learning. Some research shows it might protect against cognitive decline. When you diet, ghrelin stays elevated, which is one reason maintaining weight loss is so difficult. Your body is constantly signaling that you're starving, even when you're at a healthy weight. Serotonin, famous as the happiness neurotransmitter, serotonin is actually produced mostly in your gut, not your brain. About 90% of your body's serotonin is made by cells in your intestines. It regulates mood, but here's what most don't know. Serotonin controls your gut motility, determining how fast food moves through your digestive system. Too much causes diarrhea. Too little causes constipation. Serotonin also affects your appetite, making you feel satisfied after eating. It regulates sleep by converting into melatonin. Serotonin influences bone density, blood clotting, sexual desire, and even social behavior. Low serotonin is linked to depression, which is why many antidepressants work by increasing serotonin availability in the brain. Interestingly, about 95% of your serotonin can't cross into your brain because of the blood-brain barrier. So your gut serotonin and brain serotonin operate almost as separate systems. Dopamine. Known as the reward chemical, dopamine is produced in several brain areas and drives motivation and pleasure. But dopamine doesn't create happiness. It creates wanting. Here's the distinction most people miss. Dopamine surges in anticipation of reward, not during the reward itself. It's released when you're pursuing a goal, scrolling social media expecting something interesting, or craving food. This is why anticipation often feels better than achievement, and why dopamine-driven activities can become addictive. Dopamine also controls your movement, which is why Parkinson's disease, caused by dopamine-producing cell death, results in movement problems. Dopamine affects your decision-making, making you more willing to take risks when levels are high. It also controls your attention span and working memory. Drugs, gambling, social media, and junk food all hijack your dopamine system, creating cravings that feel like needs. Working together. What makes hormones truly remarkable isn't just what each one does individually, but how they interact as a complex communication network. Your hormones constantly talk to each other. High cortisol suppresses testosterone. Insulin affects leptin sensitivity. Thyroid hormones amplify adrenaline's effects. Estrogen influences serotonin production. When one hormone goes out of balance, it cascades through your entire system. This is why hormone-related conditions like thyroid disease, PCOS, or menopause affect so many aspects of health simultaneously. Your hormones control your mood, energy, appetite, sleep, sex drive, growth, stress response, and aging. Every thought you have, every emotion you feel, and every action you take is influenced by this invisible chemical orchestra. Understanding your hormones helps you understand why your body does what it does, and why sometimes it feels like your body has a mind of its own. Because in a way, it does. Your hormones are the mind of your body.